Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Rigo-Buto, I want to turn to Hanford as well and get a sense of what your thinking is a year after we met in my office. The Government Accountability Office issued a report just a few weeks ago and stated that over the past 25 years, the Department of Energy has spent $19 billion on trying to make the high-level tanks safer and developing technology to process the 56 million gallons of high-level waste that are stored in these leaky underground tanks. And they found not a gallon of the waste has been treated, and the tanks are really no safer. So my question is, given the fact you've had a year to reflect on this, what would change on your watch?
Thank you for your question, Senator. I do share the concern of the leaking tanks in Hanford with you and your constituents. I think that is one of the top priorities in the Office of Environmental Management. Tank integrity is certainly something to be concerned, and I look forward to continue to working in those areas. The best way and the only permanent way to address tank waste is to immobilize it and to properly dispose of it as we move forward. Under the current situation at WTP, it is recognized that as currently designed, that facility has too many technical issues, and you're aware, I'm familiar with those. And I, in the past year, have been looking at coming into the technical issue resolution for the high-level waste facility and the pretreatment facility. In addition to that, the Secretary certainly is moving in the path of immobilizing as soon as possible, as much inventory as possible at the site. And we are looking at a path of initiating activities of the low-activity waste as soon as possible. That facility does not have the technical issues that the other two have, so the path is a parallel path, immobilization, while we determine what happens to the other two facilities.
Doctor, respectfully, that's very much along the lines of what I've been told for what seems like years now. So I will hold the record open, and if you could state in writing specifically what would be different on your watch. That's what I'm really looking for, and that'd be helpful. Let me turn to one other question with respect to Hanford, and this deals with what I consider to be a culture of hostility against the whistleblowers at Hanford. And this was confirmed by the fact that the department's own oversight office last June found that only 30% of federal employees in the office that oversees the high-level radioactive tanks felt that they could come forward and actually challenge a management decision. And I looked at the history, particularly in 4 recent cases. 2 whistleblowers were fired, Dr. Tomasitis and Donna Bushi. We looked at 4 contractors overall, Bechtel and URS, Washington River Protection Solutions, and the Computer Science Corporation. And the government either found that these contractors were retaliating, or the contractors just weren't cooperating at all. What would you do to end this culture of hostility against the whistleblowers at Hanford?
Thank you for your question, Senator. I recognize that there has been not the best culture with respect to whistleblowers. I will assure you that the Department of Energy and I personally take very serious this issue. We must have a culture at all of our sites if we are to achieve our mission of cleaning up the environment, and that is that every worker, either in the federal or contractor side, should be able to freely come and express any disagreement, issues, and concerns. The whistleblower program is really what keeps us honest and keeps us into a path of moving forward. And I certainly support that moving forward.
Doctor, I consider you very qualified to lead the Office of Environmental Management. I appreciated our discussion before. There is no question, in my view, about your technical capability to carry out this office. And I am going to support voting in favor of reporting your nomination to to the committee. I will tell you, until I see some corrective action, concrete action by the department to make changes at Hanford in both of these areas to address that, I think, extraordinarily important report that came from the Governmental Accounting Office that I quoted for, and to change this culture of hostility at Hanford with respect to the whistleblowers, I will be objecting to the Senate proceeding to your nomination. I hope that we can see some corrections before that time, and I want you to understand this is not a judgment with respect to your abilities, because I have been impressed with our discussions, but we've got to get some changes. This has become what amounts to the longest running battles since the Trojan War. It just goes on and on at Hanford. The money just evaporates, as noted by the Governmental Accounting Office, and I mentioned those 4 specific cases. That's not an abstract question. Those are specific issues. So I hope that we'll get this corrected, and I want you to understand that my judgment with respect to how I'm going to vote in committee is because I consider you qualified. I want this corrected, and it's going to have to be soon. Thank you, Madam Chair.